Come on in, guys. I am getting some music ready. Got to get the night set up. Okay. Oh, wow, she's amazing. You guys, come on in. What am I looking for? Let me get on my profile. What's up? What's up, guys? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I got the worst camera ever, y'all. I don't know. What's up, Michelle? How are you? I'm doing good. Let me tell you something. So I've been on a no sugar, no soda thing, right? You know, done with that. And my next thing is to go no meat, which I always, I do that often. Hold on. Okay. So I decided to have a brownie today. Got me a brownie. And my son, I told him to bring me a brownie from the store, and he brought me a box of brownies. Me and brownies, I tear them things up, right? So I ate a couple of them, and I do mean a couple of them. And all of a sudden, I began to feel like real tired, like wore out. I like crashed out. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do anything. I was so tired, and it dawned on me, the sugar. So I'm done with it. I don't like the way it make me feel. And now that I'm getting older and I'm in my 40s, I don't need to be feeling like grandma. Because this is exactly how I felt. I was woe out and I was tired. Yes, I was. And I don't like it. So, follow me, you guys. Get away from the sugar, sodas. And starting next week, I'm going to go back to not eating meat. Because I got to get myself back together. I used to always train physically as if I was going to compete. So, no matter what, even if I decided to compete, I'll be competition ready at all times. So that's how I always trained. And I got to the point that I'm like, you know what? I don't want to train like that no more. I just want to stay fit and look good, as I get older. But I'm not liking the way I look. I'm not liking it. I don't have no definition in my arms, and I'm just feeling a type of way because I'm used to seeing that. I'm used to seeing the cuts and things. And I don't have that. So I'm going to get myself back in the gym. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. So listen, well, no, it's part of this topic because it's all about self-love. Pour into yourself. Do not give up on yourself. Because not that I was giving up on myself, it's just the fact that I wasn't into the gym like I usually am. And I have a gym in-house now. And I just, not really going to do that. But no. Get my tail back in the gym because I like to look a certain way. I like my waist to be really small. I like when I wear my tank tops and my fitted dresses that you can see my six-pack. I like that. Well, you don't see any of that now, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to me, so I got to get myself back right because that's me. That's who I am. And until I become to the point that I can't physically do those things, then okay, but I'm still able to do those things, so I'm going to go back. Give me a six-pack. I'm going to look good. So listen, I hope y'all had a great day today. I hope y'all didn't let the world of what's going on worry you today because I had to sit in a meeting today and I had to hear some things. And it was what I heard from someone and the way that they were trying to sell themselves. Like, hey, if I do this, can I qualify here? Because they don't want to lose their job. And it hit me in a different type of way because I'm empathic, right? So I immediately start crying. Now, I went on the phone like, oh, no. I stayed within, kept myself on mute and tears. I immediately start crying because of the fact I put myself in their shoes. What's going on? Thank y'all. But I put myself in their shoes because to hear someone, I don't care if it's a man or woman, and in this instance it was a man, but to hear someone beg and plead because what everyone else heard is he's concerned. He had questions. What I heard is, look, I got a family to feed. I got bills to pay. It's no way that I can be without my job and my insurance. That's what I heard, and it just took me to a level of hurt. Like it hurt my heart. Right? Even though we're all in the same boat, right? But it hurt my heart because I can't save the world. I have to lean on God. And the only thing that I can do, because usually this is what happened. I'm always the one that's like, hey, money fix everything. Hey, I'll help you here. Do you need this? Do you need that? But we're in a time that none of that is going to help. Only person that's going to help is God. The only person you can lean on is God. When they say trust God, but you saying like, oh, it's cliche. I'm tired of trusting God. God, see what's going on down here. Why would he put me through that? I serve a good God. I served and I did my job. I did what I was supposed to do. I took care of people whenever he called. I showed up. But God, why is this happening? Why is this going on? And they like, well, just pray to God. Well, I'm tired of praying to God because God see what's going on. So why do I got to go through this, right? Because there's so many of us like that. It's not the fact that we're saying we doubt him, because I get tired of hearing the people that, the big Christians, the big dogs, the big ones that say, oh no, you can't be doubting God. God is a God of wonders, and he can do, and he can, until you in my shoes, then I want to see how you're going to be like Job. See, everybody talk about how Job was, he wouldn't shake. He like, my God, but they don't break down really how bipolar Job sound throughout the chapters, because there's one moment he like, oh, just take me, to my mother's bosom, and he just going on like, oh God, just take me now, and then he like, God forgive me, pretty much like, God forgive me, I trust in you, and then the next he's sitting back, because you got to remember he lost everything. He lost his kids. When you lose your cows, your sheep, your calves, and all that, okay, fine. That's a big deal because that was his money. Then you lose your wife or whatever the case may be. Okay, yeah. But when you lose your kids, that's at the point of saying like, God, you want me to follow you? You just took all my babies. How much do you want from me? How much do you want me to take? You see what I'm saying? So it's like in your situation, it's like, hey, you have to be like Job. Because at the end of it, it's not that he was like, you know what, God, you took him and I trust you. He just got to the point he had no choice but to say, you know what, God, have your way. I'm done. And that's what I need you to be at this point with this whole situation of what's going on. What Job did was stopped worrying. He stopped thinking about it. He stopped stressing about it. He wasn't trying to figure out, what did I do wrong? He stopped listening to his wife. His wife, like, look, he cursed you. Let's run away from God. What kind of God you serve? Because he done cursed us. Look at this. He did all these things, but he never stopped. And the reason why he never stopped is because he finally just surrendered. Everybody just like, he just loved God so much, he would just follow God. No, he surrendered. He just gave up. He gave up the fight, because at the end of the day, all my worrying, all my stress, everything is in God's hand. So God, have your way. I'm here. And that's when God will bring you your blessings. That's when he'll make everything better. That's when he'll make you feel better. That's when he'll stand you up, when you surrender and just say, you know what, God, I did my job. Whether you voted or didn't vote, whether you participated or didn't participate, whether you voted for the wrong person or didn't, it doesn't matter. You did your job. There's nothing more that you can do. It's nothing more that you can do. The lawmakers, they're like, which I don't get, and maybe somebody can help me understand this. You got lawmakers out there standing doing a protest. Now, this is just crazy to me, because you were voted in office, and you are standing outside protesting with the people. With the people. The people that voted you in to do your job, to be not standing on a podium talking about, hey, this is what we got to do is fight. No, you need to get your tail up in the Congress library. You need to be pulling out the Congress books. You need to be going and thinking what loopholes, the same loopholes that this person may have took to go and do this route. You need to be finding out, okay, how can we shut that loophole? That's your job. Not to be standing out here with me. I did my job. We got you in office, and then now you're sitting around mad because this is what he's talking about. This is what the people are talking about. It's people in positions that shouldn't be there. Because I'm trying to figure out, why are you sitting here with me? Don't be giving me a speech. Get your tail up in there and do your job. Fix it. Because we the people put you there. Now fix it. This ain't our fight. This is y'all fight. Because we don't need you in office, because we can fight. Listen, all of us like, hey, we can handle it. But that's your job. And so when you get to that point, that's what you got to understand, that it's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. You've did your part. You stood your ground. Now all you can do now at this point is just lean on God. God, it's it. this is his will. Trust the process. How can I trust the process when I'm about to lose everything? Well, God gave you everything. Remember, he is I am. I am just don't stop at a higher being. I am the God. I am this. See, when you're religion bound and when you're just focused on just the surface level reading, that's what you see I am is. You limit I am. He says, God, Moses said, who should I call? What should I call you? He said, I am. See, but we put limits on I am. I am is, hey, Sean, thank you. I am is to them, to the surface readers. I am. He's God. He's a higher being. Yep. That's what I am is. And then people go around talking about I am. Yeah, but then when life start hitting them, they're not. Because you don't know how to stand in the power like I am. See, I am the person that gave you that job. I am the one that created that job. I am the job. I am the reason why everything runs. I am. See, stop putting limits on the I am. He is all of that. So when we get frustrated and we don't know what's going on, you got to say, okay, I believe in the God of I am. The same God that gave me the job is the I am in that job is the same God that's going to get me another job. I don't know how it's going to come because we put limits on them. So here's what I mean by limits. With my resume, I'm only good at this job. I've been working with what you've been working with government for all these years. So you don't know how to get in the civilian sector. You can't see yourself anywhere. You can't see yourself other than doing that. You can't see yourself. They cut funding. Well, I've been going to school or I've been living low income for so long. You can't see yourself past that because it's unbelievable. It's unreachable. So when you're looking at the fact of, okay, I'm low income. They're about to cut my funding. They're about to cut my food. But I can't apply for those other jobs because I don't qualify. Yeah, you don't qualify. You do not qualify. But I am is going to qualify you. See, that's the thing. Stop putting limits on him. Stop saying, this is all I know. And allow God to put you where you need to be. See, you put yourself in those situations, in those jobs, in those small jobs, or in those, okay, I can't get no better than this. You put yourself in those situations because you put a limit on yourself. And when you put that limit on yourself, you put a limit on God. See, the kingdom of God is within you. God is within you. So when you put a limit on yourself, you told God, hey, sit down, park it in a corner, because this is all we doing. We ain't doing nothing more, nothing less. How you going to tell the creator of everything that, hey, we ain't going no further than this. This is as far as we're going to go. This is why it's been leading up to for years. This self-love, this healing journey, this spiritual thing. See, let me explain something about the spirituality. I was one of the ones. I thought the younger generation was crazy as hell. I said, oh, everybody going to hell. I said, oh boy, they don't know what's going on. Oh boy, here we go. They praying and stuff. They don't want to acknowledge God. They talking about a universe. They talking about this. See, I was that one. And so God and it's so funny, when I got off the live yesterday, God reminded me who I was before I got to this point of teaching you something. Let me tell you how I am use you. So you remember Saul that became Paul, right? So Saul would go around persecuting people. You know, they believed in Christ, Christians, and this, that, and the third. He'd go ahead and take them out. Like, no, you ain't doing that. You know, you ain't doing that. And then God had to blind him on Damascus, sent Buddy to come to him. Buddy like, no, look, you remember how he used to kill up everybody? You want me to help him? And God said, yeah, I want you to help him. Go ahead. Don't worry about it. I'm dealing with him. God dealt with him. Then boom, he came out and he's like, yo, I'm Paul. Let me write to all the churches. Let me explain to everybody that, you know what, this is the right way to go. The thing was, we were going about it the wrong way because we thought with our hurt minds, hearts, and what was taught to us through religion. Right? So then God told me, hey, little girl, you know, you doing a lot of talking, because I remember I was driving. She's my sister. That's what I call her, my sister, my big sister. I went to visit her in Houston, and we was riding in the car, and I was just like, girl, I don't know what's going on. But all throughout the process, I didn't know all these things was leading up to him to use me, because all of a sudden I start meditating. Even though I'm talking about, look, this new generation, something wrong with them. I start meditating. I started being able to disconnect from people. Everything in my life was just turning upside down. And God was removing people out of my life. And then I started looking at things like, what is beyond this? See, I've always been a wanderer of thinking it got to be more to this. It's more to this out here. I know it's more to this out here. And I was that one, right? So I remember riding with her and I was like, girl, this generation is crazy. Every time you turn around, they talking about some, howling at the moon. They getting the candles, they getting this, they getting that, and they talking about some universe and all this stuff, and they disrespected God until I got home. God was like, yo, come here, little girl. Let me talk to you. Let me help you out, daughter, because I'm his baby girl. And guess what? I'm his favorite. You thought you was his favorite? No, it's me. So he said, okay, why do you come up against my new babes? See, when we think of babes in Christ, we think of, they just got baptized, they just found God. No. See, what he was explaining to me, because this generation is coming in with the veil lifted. This generation is coming straight in with a connection to me. See, this generation is to save the old generation and bring in the new world. Well, everybody, because I was a surface reader at the time too, new world. Oh, okay. In my mind, the big round earth thing that's going to come down, knock this one out of the box, and it's going to, my mind just, because I was thinking I put limits on what my mind could think. And it's not the enemy do. This is the prince of air. This is his world. This is the morning star. Of course, he's going to do that, because you cannot find out who you are. So anyway, moving forward, let's stay on topic. So then he said, listen, I need you to bridge the gap. And I said, well, God, that's too big for me. I put a limit on me, which put a limit on him. But he said, no, you ain't going to put no limit on me, because you my child. You're going to do what I tell you to do. And in that moment, that's how I felt like he was talking to me. Like, he was, look. And so I said, well, God, how am I supposed to bridge the gap? I knew it was something big. He said, you're going to do something big. I'm going to put you in big places. I'm going to put you on stages. I'm going to do some things with you, because you are going to help bridge the gap and save what's supposed to be the new earth. And I'm like, okay, what's this new earth? Tell me. So then the downloads came. See, it's funny how you can go study. What is it? Theology. They can study. They can do these things to become a better pastor, minister, whatever it is. They go study. See, they get the history. They get the science behind it. They get the history behind it. But you got to remember, whose history is this? Who wrote the history? These, these scrolls that they find and this, that, and the third, but who interpret the scrolls? Because it ain't in our language. It ain't in English. And the people that spoke that language no longer exist. So when you start doing the history on the history, you realize, wait a minute. So you telling me somebody that wrote this, their language has been extinct for centuries. And there's no one here to interpret that. So how is it being interpreted? Well, someone looked at the walls of the what do you call it when they drawing the walls, when they was doing the art on the walls, well, they were writing on the walls. And, pretty much that was the history being written on the walls, even though it's ducks and, men walking around with beaks on their face and different things like that. And somebody interpret that, because somewhere, somehow they put two and two together and said, this man with the beak, that mean the word the. I don't know. So I said, okay. So when God was talking to me, he was like, all right, cool. So you're going to bridge the gap, but this is a big job. So I need to prepare you. And that's when it happened, the whole dark night of the soul, as we talk about, because what it was, I can't teach something if I didn't live through it. See, you guys talk about, and you hear these people talk about, oh, you're going through the dark night of the soul, you're going through the awakening and all these different things. And, God is coming. Well, you can't have that happen until he teach you. And he not only taught me that, he made me and he gave me downloads of everything that's out there that people are praising and praying to. How they're confusing his name to what people say his name is. I need to tell them who he is. And I'm like, well, God, how am I going to tell these people who you are? Like, I'm just a little old me. I don't even do social media. I don't even do content. I didn't have a social media at the time. He said, I'm going to show you, don't worry about the how, just do what I tell you to do. So I said, okay, well, fine. This is what I'll do. I'll do what you tell me to do. But I had to build up confidence to know that when I speak, I have to know when it's him speaking, telling me what to speak. So that was my fear. Like, okay, God, you want me to get in front of some people and say, hey, y'all, I know y'all been doing the what's up, universe. I'm screaming out to the universe and I'm telling them, hey, you're doing it wrong. No, that's not what he said. He said, no, what you're going to do is be you. You're going to be you. Everybody's going to continue to do what they do. You're going to be you, and you're going to do what I tell you to do. You're going to say what I tell you to say. Now, when we talk about God said, we be saying it like God be sitting next to us like, girl, listen, this is what you're going to do. No. We be paraphrasing, but at the same time, to make it more relatable so you can understand. Because if I was to tell you exactly how God talked to me, you'll be like, what? See, people that when God talks to you, it's not a clear statement. He gives you the piece of the sentence today. And then he teach you how to follow the synchronicities, follow the signs, follow the different gems that he dropped so you can put it together and you have the aha moment. And the reason why he do it that way, because he's trying to get you to trust yourself and to tap into your spiritual, your higher conscious, right? He's trying to get you to the point that you only see things spiritually. So you got people that's talking about, what do they say? Because my third eye open. Shut up, it's not. Now, the thing is, I'm a mess, y'all. Bear with me. I'm just joking about some things. But at the same time, you saying your third eye is open, but yet you're contradicting everything about who God is. So it can't be open to the spiritual. It can be open to your self-understanding. Yourself. That's it. Because this is where it get twisted at. And so I talked about this, and God keeps having me to emphasize about these cards. Now, I have friends. I know people that I have friends. They do tarot and they play with the cards and this, that, and the third, right? Doesn't mean that I follow them out. Now, there's been times that some stuff done came on TikTok and I was like, wait a minute. They is spot on talking about me. Now, what I learned is, and what he taught me is, in my time of download, that I had to go in and study. Let me tell you what. He taught me that, okay, you have these people that have a gift and they choose to play with the card, touch the cards to get the answer. They're trusting the card. See, I am that card. I am all these things that they seek. The disconnect is not that they're not spiritually tapped in or have a gift. It's just that they're not tapped into the divine and getting the download. Even though the download is still accurate, it's just that they're trusting with their own understanding. See, they're going out, giving out the word, and ain't supposed to. See, there's orders to this. It has to be in order. It has to be in order. So you can't do what you want to do. So it's not the fact that the Bible says witchcraft, this, that, and the third. Yes, and it's not the fact that it's the card. It's the fact of what makes it witchcraft is because they go off of their own understanding and they don't have any order. Which means that you did not connect with me. I did not tell you to tell that. You have the gift to speak these things, but I did not tell you to say that. So with that being said, so my job was not to come in and say, because I'm like, God, why you keep showing me this? Like, you about to make me be, looked at differently and all this, that, and the third. I'm serious. It was a thing. I'm giving you my testimony. I'm telling you how I got to where I had to go, where I am now. So I'm like, well, God, why are you, every time I turned around, it was something about tarot. And I was like, you know what? Let me see what's going on here. And I talked to God about it. And it was nothing about that. It's just that he was showing me how everything has order. You, a prophet, you can't go and prophesy on your own. You have to be told to prophesy. Do you understand? Same way with when you hear people and they're doing the card, they're prophets, but they're on their own understanding. They're off of their own terms. And I'm saying all this because I need to add it back up. So when he brought me into this whole spiritual awakening thing, that was my job to bridge the gap. So bridging the gap, I needed people to understand, stop surface reading and look at the whole entail of everything. Where is the order into everything? That's why I don't go around knocking nobody like, oh, you're going to hell, that's witchcraft. Because here's the thing. Guess what? He also showed me this. You have people that have altars, right? They have an altar. They got their altar, they go lay it, and they go pray. And then if you have an altar in your home, someone can come to your home like, oh, no, they practicing witchcraft. But say, for instance, you got an altar because of I am. You believe in God, I am. People will still judge you. And the reason why they judge you is because they were taught that the only altar needs to be at church. Now, in a building that's supposed to be the house of worship, which has become a place of people come together, fellowship on the same vibration. If it's low vibrational, God is not in the place in the first place. It's just a house for people to come fellowship on their own vibration. See, it was a point in time I would have never got on here and had this conversation. He had to build the confidence up in me because of the fact he knew people would come for me. He knew people would say things. He knew people would look at me sideways, but he had to get me to the point that I don't care. Because I know what my God said. You can't tell me what God said about me and then look at me sideways when you come and tell me what God talked to me and showed me and I'm supposed to believe it. So the thing is, when you're looking at the altar, you're supposed to what? They say leave it at the altar, right? But because it's in a house, it's about to get to a point there will be no more buildings for you to go worship. Where will you go? Where will your altar be then? So you cannot get stuck in the whole religion thing and the man-made law. You can't get stuck in that because when you get to the place where there is no altar you can go to in the church, where are you going to put it? Are you not going to put it in your home? Are you not going to build your altar for God and for other people to say you believe in witchcraft because you built your own altar? That's not how that go. So it's the time that it's time for everybody to understand completely the separation of the spiritual and the religion and get on one accord, because this time is now. We are all elevating and ascending, whether you're elevating to on a higher level or low vibration, or you're elevating to a higher vibration, period, which is ascending to your higher self. And within your higher self, you can only trust God. There is no other way. There is no screwing up words. There is no, I'm going to take this word and make it match here and make it. It is none of that. I need you to get away from the, well, this is what we've been doing for all these years and this is where I'm going to stay. So when he told me these are the things I was going to do, I said, okay, well, cool, I'll do it. And I stopped. It's only when I said I stopped wondering how or what it's going to look like and just start trusting. And when I start trusting, then boom, I start just elevating. I'm in different places. I'm on different platforms. I'm able to speak and I'm able to feel confident enough about what I say, because it's not about you do as I say. I'm going to do me. I'm going to do what I do. And then you go follow and find God yourself. I represent him and you go find him for yourself. And that is the main thing, to find him for yourself. And the only way you can find him is within you. You guys, thank you for the likes, shares, and follows. You guys, come on in, continue to like, share, and follow. So that's what the whole purpose of this time is about. So you have to be open-minded. You are not going to get, as you know, the younger generation say, the new earth, the new timeline. You're not going to get on that timeline by playing yourself small. You can quote whatever the Bible say all day and say, God said that I will not be the borrower, I'll be the lender. God said he'll always be there. Yes, he did say all those things, but you got to do something. And that do something is operating your purpose. See, you can't just get up and say, you know what, I'm opening a business. And God said he going to bless me and I'm going to do it. No, he is. He's going to give you the desires of your heart as long as you stay in alignment. But that's not your purpose. You got to understand what is your passion and what is your purpose. And are you operating in your purpose? Are you? Are you? And that's what you need to start. So until then, you will continue to stay in low vibrational. You will continue to, just because your bill's getting paid and that's where you want to be in your life, and just like, well, God said he'll provide. Yes, he will. Your bill's going to get paid. Yeah. And that's where you're going to stay, right there. But don't you want more? We was born in this world with inheritance. So here's the thing. Don't just think in the Old Testament that they had inheritance because they were able to pass it down. We got it too. We were born with it. We were born with it. It's not meaning that your mama was poor when she had you. Ain't got no inheritance. You ain't got no college fund. See, that's man-made. We made those terms of, well, you got to go to college, so you got to have a fund. You got to have this, but no one ever looked at what is the inheritance that God have for me. See, you have some treasures built up in heaven that's stored up in heaven waiting to come down to you. But you got to get in your purpose. People think that just because, oh, she got a good job. It's not because I got a good job that I live good. No. Listen, let me tell you something. My job cannot pay for half of my lifestyle. It's because the God that I serve, because I operate in my purpose and I give and I do what I'm supposed to do, and I became the storehouse like he needed me to be. See, the storehouse is supposed to be the church, but now in these times, you're about to be the storehouse. So if God bless you and give you your inheritance, what are you going to do with your storehouse? You going to go buy you some J's? All right, cool. You going to go buy you some more hair? All right, cool. But see, for me and mine, if anything go wrong and we all sitting on the corner together, all of us, just like I said yesterday, I'm already in the mindset of how I'm going to build something to create wealth. Not just for me, but for everybody that's around me, and then some. That's the power that he gave me, to the creative mindset he gave you. That in the mix of anything that's going on, you can create your purpose and operate in it. No matter what's going on or whatever you got, I don't care if you got 2 sticks. You can put those 2 sticks together to create your purpose, to operate out of it and be successful. That's where you got to be. That's where you got to be. Always. And I wasn't coming on here to talk about this, but this is what it is. And I'm in my hour. I'm in my time. And it is time for me to speak up and say it. So you guys, no matter what's going on in the world, you are in control of your mind. Nobody can check that. Okay? Stay connected to the divine. Stay connected to God. Stop knocking people. Get to know some things. Do some research. Get some understanding. Stop knocking these new generation. Don't knock them. Get an understanding of them, because you're supposed to be a guide for them. Thank you for the share. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the follows. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. That is our job. We are in our time to operate in our purpose. So if you out there in your passion doing the things that you like to do, that's fine and great. But that's not your purpose. That thing that you like to do will only give you so much success. It'll keep you to sustain you because it's something that you like to do. But a passion always has an end date. It's kind of like a project. In a program, with a program, you'll always have a bunch of projects up under that program, right? Those projects can shut down and cut off, but since it's a program, it's always going to run no matter what. As long as that program is there, it's going to always run. This is project management that I'm speaking right now. So it's always going to run, right? It's just when they decide to not fund the program, which means that when you stop pouring into yourself and showing yourself love and pouring into yourself, you're the program. You're going to always create little passions here and there. But when you operating in your purpose, okay? When you operating in your purpose, you're going to always have success. Your abundance is going to be looking for you. The bag is going to chase you. Everything is coming to you because you attract these things. You'll always have passions. You pick up passions along the way. You'll always have passion. But do not let your passion interfere with your purpose. You have to stay in alignment, okay? So you guys, I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't even going to come on in and talk about this, but I'm glad I did, because as I do every night before I come on, I pray and I ask God to remove me and allow the Holy Spirit to guide me and use my tongue. Use me. But see, you have to surrender, and I had to surrender. So sometimes when I get off here, I'm like, God, and I go back and I say, God, please, Lord, tell me if I said anything wrong, Lord God. I ask that you deal with me. You know what I mean? Show me. But what he taught me is stop second guessing yourself. You'll know when you say something that you're not supposed to say, because I'll get that nudge. I have my thing with him that he shows me when I'm out of alignment. It's my little thing that he shows me, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? Let me get it. So one day I was in here, and all of a sudden my ear. I mean, it was just loud in my left. It was so loud in my ear. And I didn't say anything just of yet, but what I was thinking and about to say, he hurried up and shut that down. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to say that. Let me get off this call. Because I don't ever want to get out of alignment, and I don't ever want to put out the wrong thing with him. See, people are always going to have their opinion, and that's why you're not supposed to go to them and say, that ain't right, you said that wrong. You got to believe. That's your belief. You have to believe what you're going to believe. My job is not to force anything on you. My job is to just be me. Now, if you don't like me, that's your problem. That's a you problem, not a me problem. I'm going to do me. Because my job is to show up in my true, authentic self. Let me tell you something. I have come a long way. I have grown a whole lot. I'm like sitting in real grown woman status right now, right? Hey, Naisha. So the thing is, I just continue to stay focused. I continue to stay grounded. I don't let things bother me anymore. I don't let people tell me what it is. So you guys, when y'all see me on the next platform, sitting on a stage and talking and speaking and saying the things that need to be said, don't say like, oh, okay, now I hear her. No, hear me and hear me very clear. What I'm saying is nothing that I just sat and made up. But you'll see. So my thing is, I've been studying. I wanted to actually share with you guys because I'm breaking down some things and I want to actually teach you guys about the different women. So, you know, a lot of people say Jezebel and they don't understand what Jezebel is. It's an energy, it's a spirit, but people tied to a woman, oh, it's the spirit of sexual activity and this, that, and the third, you know, conceiving and making people do wrong, and it's deceiving, and it's like, okay, but it's much more to that. Even with Lilith, it's much deeper than that. So what you may hear, I think in Isaiah they talked about her a little bit, and Lilith, I think it's Isaiah 31:14. It's just a touch base, smaller touch base. But anyway, they talk about her and they don't talk much about her. But if you do your own research and you really get a full understanding, not just the surface level, when you do your research, it's not just like, oh, okay, this is what they said. Go a little bit deeper. See, no, it's Isaiah 34:14. So what happens is this: when you go a little bit deeper, let me teach you how to break it down. So when you go into the scripture, you go into Isaiah 34:14 and you read it, right? And then, okay. Now, even if it has her, break down what her mean. Now, get the real definition of what her mean. Because what you may see it to be, and when you compare it to what it's saying in that sentence, it changes the whole sentence. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. So really break it down. Break down the entire sentence. Because now you're getting a whole nother meaning, which is basically breaking down what type of person is a Lilith. Not who she was and where she came from, but what type of person. And as you go down the rabbit hole, then you start looking at it spiritually and you're like, wait a minute. So this spirit can be tied to this spirit. This spirit represents this spirit. And that's how you break things down to get a full understanding. So I'm going to do it for y'all. So it's not going to be like an overnight thing because I'm also working on my book as well. I am tired. And we're also going to talk about Delilah. Listen, I always forget. This is my book, Trinity Walk to Self-Love, right? Order your book. It is on Amazon, Walmart, and Barnes & Noble website. Get your book because we're going to start our book club here in March. Go to my website. The link is in the bio, notfitnessllc.com, and sign up for it. If you need some life coaching, sign up for that. If there's no spots available, book a consultation so I can help you understand this. What do you need physically, mentally, or spiritually, okay? I have workout programs. I can speak with you. I can help you decide what it is. And if I can't help you, then I'll refer you to the next person. I am a life coach. I am not a therapist. It's a fine line with life coach and therapist. Now, I am a counselor as well. I'm certified in counseling, and I'm finishing up my spiritual guidance counseling. But the thing is, the fine line between life coach and therapist is I help you organize your life, right? Because it can get so close, but a therapist diagnose and help you. For me, I help you organize your thoughts and help you make healthier choices in life and in your mental, spiritual, and your physical. That's what I am. I am a personal trainer as well. So whatever it is you need, go on the link, book a consultation. I'll help you get what it is you need. And if all that is booked, then just DM me. I mean, because at the end of the day, we're going to work it out. Don't worry about no funds. Don't worry about nothing. We work that out. And just because I'm here to do a job, God will pay me, but I'm here to do a job. So we'll work that out as we go. Okay. So back to what I'm going to be breaking down and studying. And at this point, like everything is coming into everything that I've always dreamed of is coming to fruition right now. Right now, what you guys are seeing, the ones that's been following me, you see my transformation, right? And the transformation of me becoming the actual coach that I was building myself up to be. And now that's who I am, right? I am at the place now that I am being sought after or, requested now, right? So it's so important for me to make sure I stay true to who I am. So therefore I can show up in my true authentic self at all times. And, and so I'm tired and it's time for me to start looking for a team because at this point I need a manager. I do. I do. I mean, because I'm tired. I don't have a team. It's just me doing it all. So I'm finishing up my book and I need some editors. It's time for me to make the content, right? So also I need you guys to follow my YouTube because now it's going more into a podcast, more one-on-one of me really talking and teaching on there. So if you have not signed up for it, go ahead and subscribe for me. And then I'll start going live on there. So another thing with me going live on that end, I want to have guests to come in. Especially if you're in my area, I would love for you to come in the studio. And I would love for you to come hang out with me and we talk and we just build each other up. The platform is all about self-love, teaching you how to become a better version of yourself and stand and operate in your purpose. So in this time, it is my hour, it is my time. And so I have to make sure that I'm available. So saying all this is to tell you that if you're sitting around waiting, trying to figure out what it is you're supposed to be doing, it's time for you to get it together and do it. You can't sit around with ideas. One thing about God, he's going to give us some money-making ideas. Now, me, I don't look at money. And I spend it. You would think the way I spend it, I look at it like that and I count it down to the penny. But no, I don't look at money because I know it's going to always come. Because I am the bag. I am the abundance. I am that. Because I'm connected to God, I am. So it doesn't matter. I'm never going to sit around and wait for a bag. And this is the mindset you have to get in. It's not until you realize that you are who you are. You are that. You are that chick. You are that dude. You are that inspirational coach. You are that motivator. You are that master barber. You are the salon owner. You are that real estate agent, the best real estate agent. You are global. You are, until you see yourself that way, it's not going to happen. And until you clear everything out of your life. So I was down, and I got to tell you my testimony. So for the last couple of weeks, it was like I have no thought process. I was cloudy. And as I came on here telling you guys earlier how I was eating the brownies and how I felt tired and how I felt all these different things, right? And so it wasn't until I cleared myself. See, that's why they say fast. A lot of people think you have to fast because something's wrong or you want something, and they get it twisted and they say, well, I'm going to fast because I want this. No. Let me explain to you what that means. Yes, you fast because you want a thing, but the thing is already in your presence. The thing is already in you. The thing is already here. The fasting part is for you to clear your mind, to get all the toxins out, to get all the sugar out, to purge so you can tap in and tap into your higher self, and you can get that download that God have you so you can make the next step. You see how it's so simple when folks fast. They're like, I fast for 3 days. They still miss the point. It goes over their head. I fast for 3 days and it showed up. Well, it showed up because of the fact you had your aha moment, because it wasn't cluttered with all the hosted cake snack sugars. It wasn't all the soda sugar, all the everything. You were able to hear clearly and make the right decision. God cannot order your footstep as you wake up and you say, God, I ask that you order my footstep. Well, he can't order your footstep if everything is blocking your foot, meaning that your mind, you are already telling your left foot what to do. God is trying to guide your footstep, but you telling your left foot that, hey, we're about to go over here and we're about to put on them stilettos and we're about to go out to the club and get it right and go and do what we need to do. When you just told God to order your footstep. No, what you did was allow Satan to say, hey, we're going over here. Come on, tap dance over here. And then you come back looking crazy, snotting in the nose, heel broke, looking crazy, ain't got no money. You broke. The dude that you was dating, you found out he was in the club with somebody else. Now you mad. See? Because you ordered your own footstep. So you cannot hear correctly until you cleanse your body. So a lot of people think like, oh, don't eat these type of foods. Go vegan, go do this and go do that and go do that. See, Daniel didn't say that he fasted his whole life. That's all he ate was potatoes and vegetables. That's not what he said. He said he's going to do the 21-day fast. That's pretty much what it was. That all he's going to eat is the vegetables, because he knew that he needed to, in order to have strength, he needed to clear himself of all the toxins and everything that's in it. See, you surface read, and when you surface read, that's what you get. Oh, well, I'm going to just stop eating meat and I'm going to just go here. And then you over here, have you noticed some people that go vegan, their face look like leather, their skin just look all tight like leather, it just don't flow right. Because they don't have the proper nutrition that they need. They don't have the proper protein. They don't have the proper things that their body need. So therefore, they looking crazy, but they healthy, right? No. So you got to know how to get those supplements into your body. So if you can figure that out, then go ahead and go vegan. But if you can't figure that out, I'm going to need you to just clear yourself of all the man-made things, the sugar, unless you get the natural sugar. See, God gave us what we needed. Find the natural in that. And just because it say natural does not mean that that's what it is. Grow your own stuff. And if you can't grow your own stuff, do your research. Just because it's organic don't mean that it's good. Come on now. All they did was still plump that stuff up with something. And then what did they do? Overcharge you. I'm going to give them the same thing, but I'm going to pump it up a little bit more, make it look prettier, make them buy that at a higher price. Come on, don't be a fool. Don't be foolish. Grow your own. See, this is part of your inheritance. In this time, God is giving you land. I don't care if you live in an apartment and you got a balcony. You about to create your land, because you can put a raised garden out there. The land is not just for you to just go and hang out at. The land is for you to grow your own stuff, because you're going to have to feed off the land. Whose land you want to feed off of? Because the land that we've been eating off of all this time is tearing us up. It's causing cancer and everything else. Look at me. I'm so confident in what I'm saying. I allow God to just speak through me, right? So listen. So stop looking at it for surface reading. Yes, he's going to give you land so you can eat off of it. Healthy, so you can live off of it. It ain't for you to just go, I'm on all this land so I can build all these houses. Okay, cute. I mean, that's good. And that's a blessing to be able to do that. That is a blessing to be able to do that. But you're living off that land, but you're still buying from the stores. You're still buying from the places that's injecting you with all this poison. You're not making sense here. Yes, I bought a lot of land. I have some land. I do. And I'm so proud about it. But baby, the plans that I got for this land, let me tell you something. This land gonna make me money for years. Yes, it is. I stopped looking at and stopped trying to work myself to pieces, because I'm like, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. So I get a little bit here and a little bit here. And if I got 10 things going on and I give a little bit here, I'm not giving anything 100%. So how effective is anything going to be? Do you understand? So I could put a schedule of how I want to do, like with my workbook that I'm working on. This thing is so important to me because of the fact I'm not just putting out something so you can spend some money, and it's not going to be super expensive. I don't even know. I might just make it an ebook. I don't know. But my thing is, I'm doing this because I'm not worrying about the money. The money is going to come. God got me. I am the money. I hit him with the Nikki. Do you understand? I don't worry about that. My thing is, I have to teach. I have to put this information out here so you can learn, so you can be a better version of yourself. But if I'm just over here just hurrying up and throwing some stuff together, right? And I'm just giving it a little bit, 10% here and 10% there of my time, then therefore how effective is it going to be to help you? I might as well not even do it. I'm never going to half do what God tell me to do. I'm going to do it all the way. I'm going to do it big all the way. Because of the fact it's not about me. It's about him to get the glory, because this workbook is going to help somebody. And voila. So I have to, and that's why I say I need a manager, because I will not sleep. That's not good and that's not healthy. Because how can God use me if I'm not sleeping, right? So I will work myself because I know I'm working in my purpose. When you're working in your purpose, it's like you don't get tired. You don't get tired. I'm serious. When you're working in your purpose, see, this is why he said you have to rest. The seventh day you have to rest. You got to rest because of the fact when you operate in your purpose, you just work so hard and you don't even realize it. So let's look at God. He created the heaven and the earth, right? He did it in 6 days, seventh day, he rested. And when we look at the earth, we're just looking at, okay, he just said, poof, there was some stars, there was the sun, there was the moon. He put some water, he put some, but no, let's look at everything it takes to build that. So let's look at, he took a whole day. See, when you operating in your purpose, it don't even feel like you working hard. You just taking your time, and it just goes because it's what you are made to do, right? So he built let's talk about hills. How are hills created, right? So if you look at it scientifically, they say because of earthquakes, things move and things shift and it lifts and it's and the third. So when, he created the world, you think it was just all flat, like it was just all flat and smooth, the grass, there was just no grooves to it, it was just flat. No, it's things that he had to do to make shift, to make sure that hill was created, because that hill is so important, because when it rained, he doesn't need it to flood over this way, so it has to have a way to drain on down. See, those are the type things everybody don't look at. They just look at the surface level. I need you to start looking deep, and the reason why I keep preaching to you about looking deep, because if you start looking deep on the small things, then the big things will be a no-brainer to you. You'll be able to break things down, right? And when you be able to break things down, you start operating, your mind start operating in a different way. It start rotating in a different way. You're not going to be so quick to say yes. You're going to be able to tell people no. You people pleasers out there, you're going to learn how to say no. Because what they just asked you to do, and you took that information in and you calculated what it just said, it is going to take you 10 years to get done, or that money that you give them back is going to take you 10 years to recoup that for yourself. Because once you take from here, it's going to cause interest to be here. And once you take from here, now the interest piled on here. So now instead of you paying this loan off in 2 years, but because you missed a payment and you gave it to here, you just tacked on 8 more years. Do you see how I just went deep with that? That's how you have to look at everything now. Because if you keep surface looking and reading, what's going to happen? You're going to fall and believe everything. It's so many social media platforms out here, and everybody is talking about this, that, and the third, how you should do this, whatever gossip going on, what you got the Diddy situation, you got all these different things going on, everybody losing their job, and then you got the different people that you follow on social media. Then you got the ones that you don't know if this is true, but you kind of it kind of is triggering something in you to make you think, and you follow them. You know what I mean? It's things that you do, and then you cloud your space. You can't cloud your space. You cannot. It can't be crowded. The spirit got to be able to dwell, and it can't dwell if it's just sitting there listening to nonsense, and you keep feeding yourself and bringing it in and bringing it in. Hold on. Let me fix my puzzle. And keep coming on. So yeah. So you guys, thank you for the like, shares, and follows. Continue to like, share, and follow. So those are the things that you have to start looking at life for what it is. Stop looking at it how people told you to look at it. Stop looking at it by, well, if I look at it any other way, they're gonna think it's crazy. No, guess what? If they're gonna be like, oh, they talking about magic, so they crazy. You're not crazy. It's just that you're starting to think about stuff now. You're starting to understand that you have your own powers. No, you're not going to be the Avengers. You're not going to Avengers Assemble. You're not going to be turned into Red Hawk and everybody else and doing your own thing and Scarlet and everybody. That's not what's about to happen. What you have is your spiritual gifts. And when you start operating in your purpose, you just have these gifts. And and then you start looking at things different. Your speech change. See, your mindset change, your eyes change, your vision change, everything changes. See, you don't look at things with your natural eye anymore. You're looking at everything with your spiritual eye. So that's what the third eye is. That's what they're talking about with the third eye. So you got people running around here putting tattoos on their forehead and talking about, I got to cover my third eye. Okay, well, that's cute. But anyway, your third eye is something that you have. And only way somebody can touch and bother your third eye is if you allow them in to distort your vision. See, when you start looking at things with your natural eye, then they done distorted your vision. So stop looking at things for what it says. Look a little bit deeper. All these people, and I keep talking about this, they go get all these different metals and crystals and all these different things, and they wear these things, okay? Trust me, I've done it. And the reason why I done it is because I was like, well, I started learning about different things and I'm thinking about different things. I'm like, wait a minute, you know what? Copper is this, copper. But I kept looking at the fact of, I remember when they were building these, statues to worship their gods with this stuff too. And I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute. It just had my wheels turning until I broke out of the matrix of, wait a minute, don't tell me. I don't want to read. Let me find out for myself, right? So now I find out for myself. And then you got these people that go and they get these certain tattoos on them and this, and the third. And they get the numbers on them and this, and the third. Because they're letting you know, whether they know it or not, but what they're telling you with their whole persona is, I'm spiritually tapped in. See, and then they wear these big old things on their head and do different things. And for you to know that I'm tapped in, whatever kind of spirituality they are, whether they work with hoodoo, voodoo, whatever it is, they want you to see that in them. But how about, what if I told you that it wasn't supposed to be seen? So let's talk about how they said in the Old Testament when people were going through things or when they were fasting, they would have, look a certain type of way. They would bring attention because that's attention, right? They would wear these tore up clothes or whatever, just stretched out clothes or whatever it was, are these sacks to show people that they're in distress and they're fasted and this is their need of their humility and being humble to God and saying, hey, I need you. And then in the New Testament, it said, do not, fast. No one should know that you're fasting. Do not walk around looking this type of way. Don't look like you're hungry, blah, 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 and the different things, right? So same thing. So now let's take what you read on the surface level. Let's look a little bit deeper into that. So in the times, right? So now if you are this person and you are tapped in, you are spiritually awakened, God has chosen you, you are operating in your purpose. See, Paul didn't walk around with the big cross around his neck. Paul didn't walk around with these big things to show who he was, beating his chest. Jesus didn't even do that. What they came was them true selves because the kingdom of God is within them. Everything is within them. They don't need to walk around and let you know. And Jesus was able to do it. He didn't walk around saying, hey, I need this. His mom came to him and said, hey, we need some more wine, son. I need you to stop trying to talk to this guy about whatever it is you're talking about because we got a marriage going on. We got a wedding going on. Give me some wine. And then he was like, my hour hasn't come, but you know what? Here, woman, take this. He used to call his mom woman. But anyway, he turned it into wine, but he knew what powers he had. His mama knew what powers he had. But that wasn't how he wanted to be living his life. Like, hey, look at me. So when he did things for people, he would say, hey, when you're here, now that you're here, don't tell nobody. And everybody will still run back to the town and say, hey, because this whole thing is the kingdom of God is within him. He don't want people to see him as just that. He's more than just that. His job wasn't to come here and show them, hey, look at me. I do magic. I can do this. I can do that. And that's why they said, oh, well, he's a magician. Well, he's witchcraft. He's all these different things. And that's not the case. What it was is he wanted them to hear the message. He was here to bring the message. And he was bringing the message, but he'd be interrupted because everybody was so focused on the magic. It's like, hey, yeah, I hear you. That's a great teaching, but I'm blind. Heal me. Yeah, I hear you, but this is that. Heal me. But then when the rabbis and the ones are the priests that will walk around with they crowns on their head or they hats on their head or whatever you call those things, no disrespect, and their crosses and different things like that, and they will walk around, people knew who it was. They was able to identify them, and they were able to either bow down and ask for prayer or do whatever, pay homage to them, whatever it is. They were able to do those things because they were identified as that. But when Jesus came in, and he came in on that donkey, it was like, man, whatever. But the whole time he had the power in him to do anything that he wanted to do. See, even when the devil came to him and said, hey, I can give you some food, I can give you all this, Jesus, listen, why would he take his food? He can create his own food. He could do all these things on his own. But it's a type of discipline because he understands who he is. The kingdom is within him. He can't be enticed by all these different things. So what I'm telling you is, you don't have to have all these different things so you can be identified as a spiritualist. Be your true authentic self, because those are the times that you have to test the spirit. The spirit will have to be tested. So you can be sitting there and me looking just the normal as I am, right? And, I'm tapped in and I have my gift and God has blessed me and I'm anointed and all these different things. And somebody comes sit next to me and they're doing this. This is how they're going to test the spirit, because if they really need the help that they need, they're not going to judge me for who I am. God is already telling them that, hey, he already sent them to sit next to me. They got the problem going on. I have the answer because I have the testimony. That's why God sent them to sit next to me, and they have something going on, but they choose not to say anything because I don't look like somebody that is going to, say, hey, let me pray for you. I'm tapped in. I'm a spiritualist. So that's when your spirit is tested. And then you're going to leave and still have these same problems. Because God keeps sending you everything you ask for. God, I ask that you send me help, and he sits you next to me. He sat you next to me, and you didn't open your mouth. Or he set you next to someone, but you didn't open your mouth. See, when I get the nudge to say something, I remember one time I was driving and I'm hungry. I'm ready to eat. And I'm going and I'm getting into Sonics. I was at Sonics. I was getting them chili cheese fries. You better watch out, right? And this young lady was standing there crying. And, I don't know what's going on because it's none of my business. But I was already going to Sonics. But God had already told me that I'm going to walk up to it and order my food. I don't even want to get out my car. But he had already had me set up in my mind. So I already had it set that I'm getting out the car. And guess what? Whatever she was going through, I didn't hit her with the "are you okay?" because obviously she's not okay. So y'all watch what y'all say to folks. Y'all be running around talking to folks, walking past, say, hey, how you doing? And keep walking. Don't ask them how they doing because you really don't care because you're still walking. Unless you're going to stop and say, hey, how you doing, to wait for a response. Don't ask me how I'm doing and keep walking. Throw a book at the back of your head. No, I won't. So then I go up to her and I say, hey, can I pray for you? And she was like, yeah. So my job wasn't to ask her what's going on. My job was to just let it come to me. What's going on, my favorite country boy? Was wait for her to come to me. It was going to come to me. It was going to be downloaded, and I was just going to pray, because when you're praying, you're not there. The spirit is there. And so when it was over with, she was like, that's exactly what I was going through. Well, I wanted to say, girl, I already know. But I didn't know. I didn't. I wasn't fit to give her the whole spiel and rundown of, God told me and I felt it on my heart. I knew some told me to come in. I wasn't fit to do all that because that wasn't my job. I did my job. See, that's the problem when you're doing too much. So I can reach out to somebody and I can tell them, hey, I reached out to somebody and I just gave them a whole spiel on what manifestation was. I had no idea if they was thinking about manifestation. I don't know what was going on with manifestation, but I was told to send it to them. And guess what? Received. The same thing. I don't just sit around like, well, let me see what I can put. No, if you put on my heart and I know the signs. So let's talk about the signs, right? So you got, in this season, everybody was chasing synchronicities. You guys like, share, follow, continue to tap up the screen because y'all still in here. So that means that something is interesting, right? So let's talk about synchronicity, because you hear everybody talking about numbers and numbers and numbers. Because I'm telling you, I was bombarded with them and I didn't understand what the numbers was. I didn't understand what nothing. I'm like, what is all this stuff from? And then he broke it down. Like I told you, God had to give me a download because I was Saul at one point and he had to turn me into a Paul. And in order to turn me into a Paul, he had to make me understand what this new generation is talking about, right? So I can be the bridge to connect that. So, okay, cool. Now I'm sitting here. I'm like, what is these numbers? So I got caught up in the hype. So I'm Googling, finding out spiritual numbers, angel numbers. I'm finding them out. And God allowed me to do that because I had to learn something. And I'm like, okay. So what I did one day, I said, well, if all these numbers, let me write down all these numbers. And I got a book. No lie. Just the time I took. And I wrote down all the numbers and I wrote down the meaning. And then when I wrote it all down, then I turned it into a sentence. Like I didn't add anything to it. I just wrote it out the way it was. And guess what? It was a whole message to me. And I said, okay, I read my little manifesto, my little message, my little, what I need to do, right? And I'm reading it and I immediately am in tears. But also in reading that, it did break down something to me, but it was something deeper than that. It's not about the meaning of the numbers. Is what he's trying to get you to understand. Because you have to remember, everybody think like, oh, look at those numbers. I believe in God, so I don't believe in that. That's, witchcraft. Shut up. That's your problem. That's why you're going to stay stuck where you are. You're that one Christian that's always talking about, yes, God, 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 but you ain't getting blessed with nothing. You have no blessings. You have no anointings. You have no anything. You're not anointed with anything. You're just there to say that you are a Christian and you are a deaconess and a deacon and whatever whatever it is, right? So you there for a title. You move to the side. Let's break down these numbers. Let's break down all the synchronicities. Let's break down why you riding down the street and you see your birthday on a license plate, or you see something on a license plate and you see this. Well, it's a little bit deeper than that. It's not so much about what the meanings are. It's more of, are you paying attention? He's trying to get you to use all your senses, your spiritual senses. Because if you see something repeatedly, pay attention. It's not a coincidence. Nothing in this world is a coincidence. So it's those little gems that he dropped to teach you to understand when his presence is around. What it is, pay attention. It's teaching you to pay attention. It's something. It's not that you looking at the car and it's telling you, hey, this, that, and the third, and you looking at it and it means nothing. This is how God communicates. He will tell you something. He will show you a truck that say, pack up all your stuff. And you have no clue. You just looking at that truck that say, pack up all your stuff. Then next week, you find out that you got to move. Well, he gave you the signs. Do you understand? He wants you to pay attention. It's the way he communicates with you. Just because he showed this person all these numbers and this, that, and the third does not mean that's how he communicate with you. You have to find out what is his way of communicating with you. Everybody, he does not communicate the same, because if he communicated with you the way he communicated with me, you probably would cry. You probably can't take it. See, I'm a different type of person. My mental is built totally different. I've been through some things. So the way he talked to me, he can't talk to me a certain type of way. Kind of like my kids. I cannot talk to my oldest son in my masculine energy. There's no way that I can get angry and talk to my oldest son, or get angry and fussing at him and expect him to operate the way he's supposed to operate. It just ain't clicking for him. He just can't deal with that. That is not something that he like. Maybe his dad can talk to him like, but I'm his mommy. Yeah, he's 17 years old, but I'm his mama. And he cannot, even at this age, break down and comprehend me yelling and fussing at him. Like, it's not like he started crying or anything. He just, it takes him, listen, he get confused. It's like he get nervous, like he don't know which way to go. He's, she told me to take trash. She told me, he can't multitask. He can't get it right. So guess what? I can't talk to my baby the way I talk to that little one. Now, the little one is different. I can't talk to my little one in my feminine energy, because he take that as, yeah, I ain't doing nothing. I have to be stern with him and direct with him and stand in my masculine energy when I deal with him. And so that's the same way with God. He cannot talk to all of us the same way. And that's being a leader. Let's look at leadership. Leadership one-on-one is you need to be able to motivate, coach, guide individuals and allow them to follow you. You have to have the direction for them to follow you. You have to be the influencer. So, as a leader, I have a message to put out. But even on this platform tonight while I'm talking, God is going to send the right people to this live to listen to this live because I'm going to say the same thing tomorrow. And some of the stuff I talked about yesterday. I had a different type of crowd and I was able to deliver it differently. And as a leader, you know how you're going to have to learn how to deliver that message that needs to be delivered, but in different ways, pretty much breaking it down in different languages that they can understand. Meaning, like we talked about yesterday with the tongues, where the Bible say everyone, it got mixed up, the tongues got mixed up, they started speaking different languages, But in there, they also talk about as a gift of speaking of tongues. Okay, and everybody look at speaking of tongues. What is speaking of tongues? Everybody look at spiritually speaking of tongues, what you were taught and what you grew up thinking tongues is when people be in church and they say these, jumble words to you because that's what it sounds like, right? And then they say that you cannot be filled with the Holy Spirit and not be able to speak in tongues. So this was a big controversy of, wait a minute, you telling me if I don't speak in tongues and I'm not filled with the Holy Spirit and I'm not saved and blah, blah, like this is a big thing, right? Because they read the Bible for what it is. But what if I told you speaking in tongues really wasn't about any of that? Speaking in tongues is being able to have a direct connection with God, having a conversation, being able to communicate with what the new generation calls the soul tribe, but being able to speak to your other fellow members, right? But what if I told you that speaking in tongues was being able to use your voice and say what needs to be said, being the vessel, the messenger of what God have you to say? Did you ever think about it like that? But the enemy wants you to think that it's one way. And that's why as you get older and as you go through this awakening and you get a full understanding, God will give you downloads and give you secrets to things and make understanding to things that other people won't understand. And they'll look at you like you're crazy. I mean, it just is what it is. Break things down and get the understanding for yourself. So a lot of people think that, oh, well, I don't speak in tongues, so I can't, I'm not important, I'm not saved enough, I'm not this enough. No, that's not what it means. And you have people that can interpret the tongue. So if I'm speaking what God tell me to speak, right? And then let's say, who's on here? Let me see who's on here. Miss Herrick, let's use you, right? So I speak something on this live right now and someone can't understand it. You got the gift to interpret it, to break it down to their understanding. Same thing as when they say. So don't just look at things for what it is. I want you to listen. I've been emphasizing you need to break it down and get the understanding of yourself. Don't go out buying a bunch of books and buying everything. You got the book in front of you. The Bible is the book. It's the biggest prophecy of all. That book right there is there and it has all the answers, but you have to have the knowledge to break it down. You have to have the spiritual eyes to be able to read what is unseen to the natural eye. It's the same words. You're just going to see it differently. That's it. So that's why you hear the new generation. They talk about, what do they talk about? They talk about manifesting. Same thing as praying. It's the same thing. Except for you going in with the belief, that faith of a mustard seed that they talked about in the Bible. And they taught us growing up. You just got to have a little bit. And then you like, well, ain't nothing happened. I done had the faith and ain't nothing happened. And I had the faith and ain't nothing happened. So you have to have that faith. And that's all it is manifesting. It means that you're sitting and you're within yourself and you're creating the life that you want. Not sitting around saying, hey, so let me explain to you why the things don't come to you when you say it don't come. When you're like, I done prayed and I done asked God and it ain't came. You haven't cleared and made way. And they tell you it's in divine timing. And see, look deeper into that. What do they mean by divine timing? So let's break it down. You may think that divine timing is when God says so. So what does that look like? In divine timing, really, what does that look like? Like God sitting around and we just waiting, like you wait. Like I explained yesterday, you waiting on your mama. Like she said she's taking you to the store and you waiting on your mama. You just waiting. But she won't stop talking. She won't stop talking and you just waiting. So that's what divine timing, most folks just look at it like God just sitting up there. No, divine timing is you. Let me tell you why it's you. Because you are the creator of your own reality. So once you go in and you say, God, I want this. Okay, then make room for it. And people take it literally. So what do? They go cleaning out this and getting rid of that. Well, tomorrow when I wake up, my car gonna show up. No, you cleaned out your closet. You cleaned out your garage, but you still have not created it in your own. You haven't manifested it in your own space, in your mind. You have not said, okay, my car is going to be outside. So you'll say, okay, I'm cleaning this out because my car is coming. I'm getting a new car. I asked God for it and I believe it. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because you haven't went to the other step. Which means go to the bank. Why didn't you go to the bank? Well, I know they ain't gonna qualify me. Okay. So let me explain something. So one time I needed something and I knew I needed to go to the bank. So I have a bank that's out of state. And you can go to some banks and get some things, right? Off your ATM and they'll give you the cash. God showed me the bank that I needed to go to. Excuse me. He showed me the bank I needed to go to. But guess what I did? I went to this bank. It was like, sorry, we can't do it. Then I went to another bank. I'm like, this bank for sure going to do it. It was like, sorry, we can't do it. So I'm getting ready to go home. But the whole time I'm riding, God is telling me to go to the bank. The bank that's closer to my house that I didn't have to run around town. It was right there by my house and I stopped by there anyway. And I already went in there with the mindset they ain't going to be able to do it. I was like, hey, this is what I need to do. The lady was like, oh, well, we really don't do it if you're not part of the bank and this, that, and the third. And I sat there and I said, now I'm thinking to myself, now God, you told me to come to this bank. And then the lady looked at me. She looked at me. She was like, hold on, give me a second. Let me see if we can do it. And I got it done. Because that's where he told me to go. But because you said you want a new car, you clean out the garage. I got the faith of a mustard seed, but you haven't took the extra step and went to the bank or the people that he told you to go to. See, he told you that you're going to bring home. You already manifested in your mind that you want a BMW, a Bentley, whatever it is, right? You already manifested this in your mind. You already said this is what you want. You prayed for it. And then you cleaned out the garage and you just speak it into existence. You know, that's what y'all do. Speak it into existence. I'm speaking it into existence. It don't live. It ain't here yet, but I'm going to speak it into existence. But you don't do the extra step. So then your existence become for everybody to say, well, where your car at? You did all that work. And you ain't got no car. But you speak into existence. So tell me what you did so I won't do it because ain't nothing came yet. Well, it didn't come yet because you blocked yourself. And you blocked yourself because you didn't take the next step. You went to the Nissan dealership, Toyota dealership. You went to all these other dealerships trying to get a car, right? You was like, forget it. I'm about to do the step. God told me I'm going to get it. So I'm going to these dealerships and I'm about to apply. And you went to those dealerships and guess what? You didn't qualify. You didn't qualify. Now you are discouraged when God has told you to go to the Bentley, go to Mercedes, wherever it is that you want to go. He told you, said that's what you wanted. He told you to go. And even when you leaving them dealerships, you still ain't go. Now you sitting there. And the reason why I can say that is because I can testify to that. Because that's what I did one time. He told me what kind of car I was going to get. I asked him for it. But I went to every other dealership that I felt I would qualify from. Because I capped him out like, okay, you can only go so far. And they told me I couldn't get it. And on my way home, I was like, you know what, forget it. Might as well stop at this place. And I stopped at that place and just like that, in less than an hour, I was driving away with my car. Now, I done spent 6 hours looking for a car in these other dealerships that I couldn't get. In 1 hour, actually 45 minutes, I was able to test drive and sign my paper and walk out the door because it was already prepared for me. And this was the last, listen, everybody getting ready to go. They were waiting for me. They were prepared for me. See, they hadn't locked up and started packing up their desks yet because they were waiting for me. They didn't know it though. So yes. So now that I cleaned out my garage, I can put it in there because not only did I manifest and tell him what I want. See, that's the thing. All you got to do is say this is what you want. As long as you're in alignment with what it is. As long as he knows whatever you're about to ask him for is not going to make you act brand new and you're going to forget about him and say, hey, yeah, look what I did. That's why a lot of people are on here making books about how to manifest, but they're not giving God no credit at all. And then they telling you how to manifest, but then they talking about how you got to manifest to be a millionaire. Let's talk to my brand new millionaires or different things like that. And they talking to you, or they talking about the manifestation, how they're manifesting a house. Have you got your house yet? No, they have not got their house yet. And then you know what they blame it on? Oh, well, it's in divine timing. You know, God must have didn't want me with that. No, he wants you with that. You want it. He wants you to have it. He's your father. Why wouldn't he want you to have it? But did you do the proper steps? You already asked for it. It's already yours. You just got to go through the step. You can't go to any lender. You have to ask him which lender you want me to go to. He'll bring them to you if you're patient enough. Because the lender that he needs to bring to you, maybe she's hard-headed. Maybe she out there acting like she better than everything. Or maybe she's out there, with low self-esteem and low confidence and don't know that, hey, you got a person right here that's about to make you millions. But she got low confidence because she don't understand. She's been failing at selling houses all day because she's been trying to sell houses to people that she's not aligned with. And the person so he needs to get her aligned so she can get on page with you and come see you. She's going to come see about you. Or you're going to run into somebody like me that love to share knowledge. And you're going to sit next to me. And you're going to say, I've been trying to manifest this house. And I'm like, oh, girl, let me tell you how. Let me tell you how you're going to do this. Okay. What steps did you take? All right, cool. So now this is where you need to go. I got a person for you. I have a realtor for you. Boom. And all of a sudden, voila, just like that, in 2 weeks, you closing on the house. When everybody told you that, oh, it's going to take months for you. It's going to take you 2 weeks to close on the house. And actually, it's going to take less than that, but it's a 2-week process because of the process of the underwriting and all that stuff. And you're going to be sitting there in disbelief, doubting yourself. Like, I don't know. Ain't never felt like everything just gonna roll smooth. And like one time I did, I called that man. I said, you sure everything good? Because I can't believe I'm getting that big old house. At the time, that was the biggest house I ever had. That was the biggest purchase I ever made. At that time, a $300,000 house, almost $400,000 house, that was huge. At the time, now that's little money now compared to houses. But that was huge. And everything was going smooth. And I called him. I said, hey, everything going good? Me and him became great friends now. Everything going good? He said, Naisha, what you trying to do? You trying to talk yourself out of it? Everything's good. No news is good news. And it was time to close, and I said, oh, God. Just me, single mom, with an almost 4,000 square foot home? My boys? Wait a minute. I was shook up. But why? He said, this is what he said. I asked him for it. He said, okay. Okay. So then I started making calls. And when I called the lady, I said, she said, how much do you need? I said, she was like, how much does the house cost? I said, I haven't found a house yet. I need to see how much I'm going to get so I can start looking at what my budget going to be. Because I'm thinking I'm about to get a smaller budget. Right? And she was like, okay, well, let me do some numbers. Call me back. She was like, okay, you're qualified. You're pre-approved for $475,000. I said, girl, what? Girl, I can't spend all that money. I don't know. I'm nervous. Like God. Because let me explain to you why I was so nervous about it. Because before I moved from the state that I was in, I tried to get a home and it was only $260,000. $260,000. This thing had a pool in it. It was 4-bedroom. Had an upstairs that looked, the master bedroom looked like a whole media room. I mean, it was amazing. And it was a used home. Someone was selling it. And so I didn't qualify. So hey buddy, how am I going to get a house living in this time? Because they're expensive now. Like I said, it was $380, and that was expensive at that time. And so I already went in. God said I can have it. I said, okay, let me start packing up. What happened is when I moved down this way, I never really unpacked because I knew whatever I was going to rent, I'm only going to be there for a year. But I ended up being there 2 years because I wanted to, in my mind, I need to clean up my credit. I need to do this because we're going to get a home. But no, God said, no, don't worry about that. So when I went to the lady, I said, so I was assuming that I was going to get qualified for maybe the max 200. And I'm like, look, that's a lot of money, 200, right? Because I worry because I'm a single mom, right? I don't ever want to just not be able to provide a roof on my kid's head. And so when she came back and said, you're approved for 475, I was like, wait a minute, what? You said what? I was like, wait a minute, what? So that's why the underwriter, the guy, he was just like, what are you trying to do? Talk yourself out of it? Because I wasn't understanding. I already got approved for this. I'm approved for this. And I'm good. But I was stuck on when I tried to get a home for 200. And I didn't qualify because it's not the house that I was supposed to have. I was settling for something. God wanted me to have something brand new. I asked him, can I get a nice home, nice big home? God never allowed me to go. I always will go for the used, but I never get qualified. And God say, okay, when are you going to understand that you are royalty? You're going to get the best of the best. I have watched you. God has watched me my whole life do right by people. I don't just do for people, and I don't run and tell people I do for people. I allow people to speak on my behalf, not me, because I ain't did nothing. Because once they speak on my behalf and they say, well, Naisha did this for me, this, that, and the third, I'm like, hold on. That was all God's. That was all God. I was just a vessel. That's how he's going to get the glory, because they're going to be appreciative to me. Just like when Jesus would cure the blind and cure the sick. They would thank him. They forget all about the Lord, forget all about God. They thank you. And he let them know that it's my Father, right? People will thank the wrong person, but it's up to me to make sure God get the glory. So I've always done right by people. I don't mistreat anybody. And that has been, it hurt me in times, because here it is that I genuinely help. So I don't know you and I just see you, and I don't care if we're at the grocery store. I don't care if your grocery bill is $200. I don't care if it's $200 and you ain't got enough. You're going to get that grocery. I'm going to tell God, God bless me so I can bless them. I don't know. Maybe she spent all her money on some wigs. Maybe he spent all his money on some J's. I don't know, but I know this, because I break everything down to the finest point, is somebody behind all this need to eat. So who needs to eat? Let's look at, there's kids. If you got all this grocery, you ain't buying it for yourself. You got children. Them kids should not be punished for your faults, ever. So I'm going to always ask God to allow me to bless you. I'll give you another testimony. Listen, this one was a tough one. So, I done went through my spiritual awakening. I learned how to set boundaries, and I learned how to hear the voice of God. So I'm getting ready to move into a newer home, right? So now God done blessed me with something different. Now, listen, I'm top notch over here, right? By God, humbly. But I go in and I cut down, and I tell them, hey, cut the power off and the water off at this date, because I'm going to be moved out. Well, what happened is the date got pushed back. So I called the electric company, and they turned my electricity back on. Now, the water company, I said, I'm going to go down there. Now, before my awakening, I would have said something told me to go down there. God had it already set up. See, God knows that he has to prepare me to go outside, because I'm not the type that's going to be outside. He has to prepare me in advance. Like, hey, you going outside, because I don't want to, I'm just not the type to just be outside. I go where I need to go, and I come back home because I like it here. So, okay, I go. I'm frustrated because my date got pushed back. The U-Haul, they want their truck. All my stuff is packed on the U-Haul. I'm losing money. I was able to skip paying this mortgage payment on the house that I'm leaving, because I'm leaving within a time frame. But now I got pushed back. I got to come up with that mortgage money, and I'm moving into this house, and I got this, and it ain't nobody but me, right? I can't call nobody and say, hey, let me get $1. I can't call nobody, hey, Christy. I can't call anybody. So now God got me going to the water company, and I said, all right, cool. Let me go on up here and tell these folks don't cut off my water, because I had already signed the paperwork and sent it. I wanted to be sure they don't cut off my water, because now I got to spend the whole weekend here. So I get there, and I give I talk to the lady. I hear the other lady talking to someone on the phone, and they are on the phone, and she's just like, ma'am, I can't give you another extension. Ma'am, I can't. And all I see, when I'm talking to this lady, like, look, I need to pull the paper back. I need to make sure that they don't cut it off. I need to change the date. And she said, well, let me go find it. Let me go see if it's back there. So she go back there. I'm sitting in a chair and I'm listening to this lady say this thing, and I'm getting my nudge. I know what God telling me to do, but I was in deep thought. See, I get lost because I'm breaking it down. See, what I heard was, I hear the lady on our side of the phone telling her what she can't do. But what I hear on the opposite side of the phone that God allowed me to hear, I heard the hurt in the lady's voice. I heard her crying, saying she can't pay her water bill. I heard these things. See, people will say, no, that's what you think you heard. No, when God speaks to me, I know he's speaking to me. Thank you for the gift. I know he's speaking to me. So he allowed me to hear what was on the opposite side of the phone in the spiritual. So what I did was I got up, I said, hey, excuse me, ma'am, can I pay her bill? She was like, well, that lady will be with you. She grabbed the phone. She was like, okay, the lady, when she come back, she can help you. And I said, okay. I said, no, I want to pay her bill. I didn't even know how much it was. Now, I'm already in a financial bind because I got all this stuff going on, but because I'm obedient. So she said, she put the girl on hold. She was like, ma'am, hold on. And she said, you want to pay her bill? Now, I didn't ask how much it was yet. And so she said, well, let me go see. Let me go talk to my manager to see if you can pay for it. So she come back and she's like, hey, she said you can pay for it. Are you sure? I said, yeah. Now, I don't know how much it is. I don't know how far behind she is. I don't know what's going on. And she told me the total. It was over 200 something. And I was like, okay, paid the bill. Now, remind you, I have my issue going on over here trying to make sure my water don't get cut off because I done put in a cutoff date. So they come back and they was like, man, we can't find that paper. And I said, well, what you mean? I was like, are they going to cut it off today? She was like, no. I was like, because I just need to change the date because we're not moving until that Monday. And she was like, no. I said, so she gave me the form and I filled it out. And the lady that's on the phone is like, ma'am, you just been blessed or whatever. So don't worry about it. It's been paid in full. Boom. Get off the phone. Send me the receipt. Now, what was crazy to me, you give me the receipt. This got the lady address, all this stuff on there. So I immediately ripped it up, right? Because I don't need that information. Because actually, while I'm doing this, I'm still a little frustrated on my side. Like, yes, good. Great for her. God bless. But what about, I don't need to be here on the weekend and they cut my water off because I ain't moved yet. So, I'm trying to get that straightened out. Now, as I'm leaving out, I'm kind of almost in tears. The lady thanked me and everything. Like God said, okay, I got you. God bless. God, good. God get the glory. Don't give it to me. But as I'm walking to my car, I'm in tears because I got the world sitting on my shoulder. I don't have anybody to call. I don't have any family here. I don't have any friends here. You know what I mean? I don't have anybody that I can call and lean on. I don't have anybody that can help me, move my whole house. This is over a 3,000 square foot home that me and my son packed up, pretty much him all by himself, packed up on this truck. And I'm like, God, what about me? Now I'm walking to the car, but in that moment, what he taught me, it ain't about you. And I had to take that. I had to take it because it was a lesson in that nothing is about you, Naisha. Nothing's about you. Everything is about me getting the glory. You do what I say, I'm going to take care of you. You don't have to worry about not having family, friends, nobody to help you. You don't have to worry about that. I'm going to send you just what you need. Just do your job. Operate in your purpose. And I did. And I had to eat that up. And I had to tell him, thank you for using me to help someone else. And that's just many of all. But the point I'm trying to make is God see everything that I've done. So anything I ask for, I'm going to get. He gives it to me because I'm obedient to him. I'm a good steward. I do my Father's business at all times. And so for you that's sitting around wanting this, that, and the third, I'm telling you how you have to get it. I'm not telling you that you got to do, what is it, the 369, I don't know, I'm thinking 3-6 Mafia, but the 369 method or whatever. You don't have to do that. God said, write it down, make it plain. Okay? You can write it down and make it plain. You don't have to sit and wake up every day. I have this, I have this, I have this. You got one job. You want something, one thing you got to say is, God, I want that. I want that. Now, God, I want to be a multi-billionaire. Well, guess what? I have what it takes to get there. My purpose will get me there. The problem is I can't expect to be a multi-billionaire today. Now, God can make me a multi-billionaire. I believe God can drop a multi-billion dollars into my account just like that because he's God. He is I am. However, I said I want it. He's going to give it to me. Even right now, telling you guys in this live, check me out in a couple of years. And when y'all see me again, I want y'all to tell I want y'all to tell my testimony, okay? Tell my testimony. Because I already told him that I want it. Now, since I said I want it, which everyone says that's a manifestation. You say what you want, right? And you let it go. You don't have to go burn it. You don't have to write it down, go burn it. You don't have to get no candles. You don't have to get any of that. You don't have to sit up under the moon. You ain't got to get your crystals on. You ain't got to do the $100, nothing. You don't have to do any of that. All you got to do is say you want it. And when you say you want it, God is going to say, all right, cool. That's what you want, boo. I'm proud of you. You go get it. The next thing he's going to do is give me a download. He's going to give me a download on what I need to do next. So what I needed to do next, I needed to start operating in my purpose. Now I'm operating in my purpose. I'm in my purpose. All right, cool. Now go where I send thee. Go where I send thee. So in order for me to go where he sent me, I had to sit back and learn to be obedient and learn. So all those synchronicities that folks be talking about and this, that, and the third, and they chasing because that's what the enemy wants you to do. Chase down what that means. No. He's teaching you how to know him, to know his voice, to know his presence, to pay attention when he send me the signs because he's going to give me everything that I need. Just stay on your yellow brick road, Nye. Coach Nye, stay on your yellow brick road. Now I'm set up for success. Right now, in this point, I'm already in success. I'm already in that multi-billion-dollar arena right now. I just got to keep walking. I'm already here. Just because you don't see it, don't mean that you're not there. The next step is I ask for it, I believe it, and I just move. Move. I am executing. I am going. I'm moving. I'm walking. I'm not afraid of anything anymore. I'm not, biting my tongue because I don't know if the people like this, God. I don't want them in my inbox. I'm not worrying about what I look like, how I look. I'm not worrying about any of that because I'm on my path. My job now is I'm not even worrying about somebody knocking me off my path. I'm not even worrying about bringing somebody on the path and they mess me up because it ain't going to happen. I am not bringing any. Listen, you can date me, ask me out on a date, and I'll go on a date with you. It may take me a month to realize that, hey, you full of crap because of the way I'm set up, just the way I'm set up. I'm not one of those ones anymore that's going to date you off your potential. It don't take me a month anymore either. It take me a couple of days and I'm like, nah, I don't like it. Some days it take me as soon as I meet you. Nah, I don't like you. But at the end of the day, I'm not who I used to be that will stay with you because of your potential. And then you keep me in the wilderness. You put me in the desert. What is the desert? Confusion. You have me out there in the wilderness. What is the wilderness? Confusion. You have me out there trying to navigate back on my path because I jumped on your path. Well, my navigational skills ain't that good. See, my GPS has not been upgraded, to understand what your path do because now I'm on a higher vibration. So I've been updated. That's an old, outdated version. So I can't navigate on your path. So I'm lost in confusion. It's when I get back on my path. So you can't get me to that point anymore. Because I understand what the gems is that he's dropped to me. I understand the discernment he gives me. He gives me the discern to be able to discern the spirits. He gives me that. So I know now. So you can't run circles around me anymore. I'm still going to be kind to you. If you think me being kind to you mean that you can get over on me, well, silly rabbit, tricks are for kids. You got to be all kinds of stupid to think that, hey, I'm about to run circles over her because she's kind. No, that's who I am. And I'm not going to change who I am to make you feel better. No, I'm not going to ever get back in masculine energy with anyone anymore. I'm not doing it because masculine energy only hurt me. The masculine energy hurted me. See, I balance my masculine energy when everybody else is chasing the twin flame in somebody else. I found the twin flame that's in me because that's what the twin flame is. And I had to go deal with that feminine and masculine energy. I had to let the I had to let the masculine energy know that, listen, I am okay. You ain't got to protect me anymore. God got me. I created you out of fear. I created you out of hurt. I created this masculine energy. I allowed this. I brought this persona up. I made this because people hurt me. Well, I'm not hurt anymore. I'm healed and healing. And I understand the only person, masculine energy, that can protect me is the masculine energy that lies within my God. I don't have to have that. However, because I come from Adam's rib, I'm going to always have it in my DNA. So it's going to show up when it needs to show up. Do you understand? So once I balanced that, I understood. So you don't get to come into my life anymore and play games with me. I'm still going to be kind. I'm never going to change who I am. No, that's crazy. Anybody that come into your life that causes you to get off track, you allow God to deal with them. Okay? So, with all that, we talked about a lot of things. I'm getting ready to close it out. You know how I do. I close it out like 20 different times. I think this close out will be pretty simple. I want you guys to pour into yourself before you pour into others. Listen to me and listen to me very carefully. You only give people the overflow. They can only get some of your overflow. God will fill your cup up until it overflow. You are the abundance. You are the blessing. You have this in you. They get the overflow, but you just don't give it out to whoever you want to. The overflow can only go to who God says it needs to go to. You have to use your discernment, because now in this time that we're living in, God is blessing you with overflow because you're about to be the storehouse, because you need to help his people. We all are going to need this help. So he's going to bless you, but be mindful. Go to him first. Use your spirit of discernment of who you're going to give it to. And if no one told you today, I want to tell you right now, I love you and I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you for deciding to be the best version of yourself. If you have not got your copy, wait a minute. First off, it's so many people that bought their copy, so thank y'all. But anyway, if you haven't got your copy, this Trinity Walk to Self-Love, it is on Walmart, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon website. And I'm getting ready to put it on a TikTok shop, so it can be there as well. And if you haven't got your book, get your book and then go and sign up for the book club that we're going to have in March. Also, if you need a life coach, sign up on the website, NotFitnessLLC.com. The bio, my link is in the bio. Sign up there. You need a personal trainer, sign up there. You need a consultation just so you can figure out what it is that you need, then sign up there. And if it's booked for life coaching and consultations, just DM me. And for everyone that followed me today, I'm going to follow you back as soon as this is over with. So you guys have a great night. I love you and I'm so proud of you. Coach Nye out.